How's it going, guys? Coffee here. Today I wanted to go over the final update for Iris, or the final update that I plan to do for Iris at least. With this, you can pull a little over 300 billion DPS in this setup. This is obviously for when you're just trying to go and farm things where you are not getting hit, or you do not care if you die, because with this setup, you are running with 0 defensive skills. If we swap this over to a defensive setup, then you will end up getting around 230 or so instead of 300. The 300 here, I guess, depends on crits and other things as well to kind of get that spike on everything, but crits and double damage rather. So I just kind of wanted to make this build follow up for those who wanted to kind of push to this point and then wanted to know next steps to actually push this further into deep space and even into more comfortable profound. I mean, to be honest, this is already comfortable profound if you convert it over to something that has a little bit more defenses. This is just proof of concept when you really just need to spike down a boss as hard as you can. So let's just swap this over. I'll put this on a defensive skill here so you guys can kind of see what that looks like. You can run the defensive skill of your choice. For most people, they will just be wanting to run force start if they are going to go onto like an ES based setup here. But you can still see you're getting, again, 230 or so even with a defensive skill on there. So yeah, let's go over kind of the changes since the last time we spoke. And the big ones here are we are running Grim Phantom for Grudge over the spider tanks, because by dropping Haunting Abomination, we do basically need to move our grudge source to something else. So we can go ahead and do that. We are still running Nourish. This is the same. Dazzling Bloom. This is the same. This is our flex slot. Again, you can run a defensive skill of your choice. If you need to go max damage, then you can run Elemental Shock. And then we are running Electrocute. The biggest changes you could do is get a second curse on Candle. So if you can get a growth plus curse, you can get those. They're probably expensive, but these they do exist, right? They are just a bit expensive, but they do exist. You can get these. You can get this, and if you're going to do that, then you also need to end up picking up a ring that has Timid on hit. So these False God skins, if you can still balance your resistances with them, or your stats rather, using a False God skin is more damage than a Curse on Hit necklace, from my own testing at least. Just because you're getting so many stats when you are using lightning, and again, if you can get yourself to 410 dex and int, or, you know, a ton of dex and int, you're getting really, really big multipliers from both of these. And then, so in order to get these stats balanced, I was using, again, just one belt mod here for dex, and then I am using a few fates here on my pack spirits as well to help just get that extra balance. I pushed too much into this, which meant I had to add more decks and other stuff. So you can get that balance without having to buy so many of these, but that is kind of an option for those who want to do that. For those, again, if you are going to be looking into doing this and taking it further, again, you can get that extra curse. And then for your ring, again, you can get one that has Timid. You can either get it as a priceless ring, or as a base mod here on a priceless, or as a dreamcraft. So you can look through these. These are not very cheap because obviously everyone wants them. This is kind of the next natural progression. To push this further, you probably want to look at ones that are at least eye level 86, so don't get tricked by buying something lower level. That might end up hurting you. So, but if you look at these, again, they're not very cheap. But for those who are looking to push this, this is at the point in the build where the amount of money you're going to have to start pumping into it to really get, like, again, into deep space or into very comfortable profound, where you can swap all of your skills over and swap to like blurry steps and run a pet that's just going to allow you to be moving quickly instead of the extra damage. It takes time. You gotta like get really over on your damage, so then you can take a bunch of it back off to just add a bunch of movement speed back in. So for me, I want to work on other builds instead of just focusing on this for the entire league. So I will leave this to you guys from there. I would say continue to check the hero ladder for people if you need inspiration any further than what you're doing. I know there's a few of the people here that are just either running a crafted neck or they are running a balanced neck here with just something else. This person's running a truth. This would probably explain why these things are going for 4,000 or 5,000 FE if they're managing to balance it this way. Lone Walker boots obviously are good on everything. Crafting a chest and going over to full ES, always a thing, right? You know, getting your prairie, all this other stuff. That's always an option. It's just you're investing a serious amount of money at that point into the build in order to get there. So, yeah. Last thing to cover before I forget. If you are going to run this and you do end up with this Precise Projectiles aura effect here, with the additional Precise Projectiles sealed mana, what you are going to end up needing to do is you will end up needing to add a 4th support to 2 of your supports here. So both to Precise Projectiles and Radical Order. You will need to add your 4th supports to these, which means you will need to push your energy to at least 515. And then you are going to need 14% sealed mana compensation between your slates. So for me, I have 2 with 3%, and then I have the 1 here with 8%. So you are going to need that 14%, and you have to make sure you don't have any minus mana. And this puts me at exactly 0 mana reserved. So I guess if you do have some minus mana, or maybe don't have the exact same amount of mana, you might end up needing to grab 1 extra 3% slate. So just keep that in mind. And then, yep. Those are the options. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. And other than that, see you in the next one.